Seek is the self-hosted search, analysis, and alerting server built for structured log data. You can track errors, build dashboards, and configure alerts without sending any data outside your own infrastructure. Try Seek for free on Windows Server or Docker at datalust.co/seq. That's datalust.co/seq. Hi, I'm Scott Hansel, and this is another episode of Hansel Minutes. Today, I'm talking with Saghar Salehi. She was on the Afghan robotics team. How are you?
Hi, Scott. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm
Thank you
very
for
well.
having me.
Yes, thanks for having me to talk to you. I'm very excited. We've been trying to set up this podcast for quite a while, and we finally connected. And I'm excited to hear how you're doing and what you're up to.
Thank you so much. I'm doing well. I'm just, currently being busy with the start of the semester in college. I'm actually sorry for that delay and, making this happen, but thank you so much for your patience and having me. I really appreciate that.
Of course. So in 2017, you and your friends, was it about 6 different teenage girls from Afghanistan, went to a robotics competition. Is that correct?
Yes, I was a member of the Afghan First Girls Robotics team, also known as for Afghan Dreamers. Our team started the work in 2017 first by attending first global challenges in USA. That was like the start of the robotics, and our team started the work. It was like actually strange for Afghan people because we were the team who brought the idea of robotics to our country, and before that people were like thinking about robotics of being something only for movies and something like that because they were not like quite familiar with this idea. But when we started, it was like we were the first team that brought this idea to our country. Yes, we started our work in 2017 by attending first global challenges in USA.
When I, as an American, think about other countries, I have to look at it through the lens of what I see on the news and what I see in movies. And I think sometimes people in different countries, when they look across at another one, they may not see the truth of that country, right? They see it through the lens of the news or the media or whatever. So when I think of Afghanistan, I don't think of robots. When you were in Afghanistan, when you grew up there and you're thinking of America, are you thinking of it in the lens of the war, or are you thinking about it in terms of movies and Terminator?
And yeah, exactly. I totally understand that. I myself have that idea too. Like about the United States, and like my idea was like more of a land of opportunities. It was like a country that we can do everything that we want to, and everything is like not that tough and hard as it was for me back in Afghanistan. I would say for my country, it's like more of, obstacles. It's not like if you are trying to do a very, something that's considered very easy here in USA, you will have a lot of obstacles, especially if you're a woman doing that in Afghanistan. So I would say almost much different than news that we have from Afghanistan. There are people who are talented, people who really work hard and very amazing talents back in Afghanistan. It's not all about war in Afghanistan, but something that I do confirm is that it's not easy doing anything in Afghanistan, and we really pay a lot for doing what we really want to, and it's not like that easy.
Now, how old were you in 2017? So that would be 6 years ago. You were probably 13 or 14?
Yeah, I was a kid, like 13 or 14 by that time when I started like joining the team, and yeah, I was a kid by there.
And what was your thinking about what a robot was? Did you see robots in Afghanistan, or did you see them in movies?
I would say that since my childhood, I was like always really curious about how modern technology works and how we can use it. I remember when my brother first wanted to like buy a computer for himself. This idea was like really fascinating to me. So I dove into helping him, like saving the budget and that money to buy a computer because I was like really fascinated about how is that machine going to be and how is it going to work? And I was like really curious about that. So when my brother finally got the computer, I was like spending hours in a day searching for different options in that computer and looking for different function available in that computer. And after the finally when the machine arrived, I made this astonishing discovery that I could paint after it. If you remember the Microsoft Paint in Windows XP, I really loved that and I was like spending hours painting on it because my drawing on a piece of paper was like not that good, actually really weird. But when I was using computer drawing, I kind of like was able to bring that imagination in my mind on like painting. It's actually funny that as a first grader, I actually asked my teacher in school if I can bring my brother's computer and draw on his day on a Microsoft Paint instead of like drawing on a paper because my drawing on paper was really weird, but I could do it on a computer really well. She refused, but I already learned a really good lesson that through technology we can do a lot of things that previously seemed out of reach to me. So that was how I started like getting interested in computers and technology. And this, interest of and passion of my childhood kind of made my path in my life. And later on, when I was almost a high school student in my school, I heard this announcement in my school that girls from different schools are invited to take a test, and the test is going to be computer, physics, and math. And for the girls who are able to pass the test, they will be able to become a part of the first Afghan girls robotics team. Actually, the idea as an Afghan people, idea of robotics was like so fascinating to me to like how we are going to make this and happen. And I was like extremely passionate and I extremely curious, but I was like, yeah, this is the path that I need to go because in our school, we don't really have the subject of computers to like learn about them and go for them. But this was path that was like connecting me to what I was interested to rather than like subjects in school. So I went for it and I was able to be one of the 6 girls who, passed the test. And I was like really happy after I passed the test. So yeah, that's how like that interest and passion about computers and technology kind of connected me to robotics. And I did had a research before, taking this test and joining the team, and I find out that computers and programming and software is a big part of robotics. So I was like kind of thinking, why not, pursuing my ideas through that by computers with robotics and going for what I have always dreamed.
Was the computer that your brother and you put together, was it a desktop and you assembled it, or was it a laptop?
Yeah, no, it was a desktop. Yeah, back in Afghanistan, it was like a long time ago when I was a kid. I do have pictures of that time too, wearing headphones and using my brother's computer. And it was like, yes, it was a desktop.
Like a tower, like a mini
Yeah,
tower?
yeah, right.
That's awesome. So when I think of computers here, at least for ones that we use in STEM, right? Science, technology, and engineering and math, I think of things like Arduino and servos. Where do you source those? Do you get them from the same places that we do when you're in Afghanistan, or was that hard to find?
Actually, I would, as I have like previously mentioned that as well, in Afghanistan, if you want to, do something, it's not like easy as we are doing that in countries like you're saying. It's totally hard, and now we didn't have access to everything that we wanted. For the team, for the Afghan Girls Robotics team, when we were like attending the challenges, obviously we were receiving our packages from First Global Challenges for the robotics to like assembly that onboard the robot. And we were using the computers for, the programming, but we did have lots of like constraints and obstacles in that part because for like cutting the parts of the robot, every other country, that was like attending the competition, they had machines like CNC machines to work on the design of the robot and cut the parts accordingly. But what we were using was using hammers and those kind of stuff that we had in our hand for like doing that because we didn't had access to every source that we wanted to. But the thing that we were doing, like we were finding alternative options to like solve the problem that we had, but no, we didn't have access to everything that we needed for.
Now, my wife is from Zimbabwe, and we have a lot of family in Africa. And I just got back last week from spending a month there. And not every country has developed reliable power or reliable parts. And in America, I might be able to make an order from Amazon and have an Arduino or a device or a cable come tomorrow. But in Zimbabwe, I might need to wait a week or a month or whatever. Some people think that constraints, the idea that I have less or I have to be more creative, can make you a better engineer. But some people think that they may be kind of romancing the constraints and that maybe it's not, everyone should have the same opportunities. What do you feel? Do you think you learned more as an engineer because you had less to work with?
I cannot yet call myself an engineer because I don't have that enough knowledge yet. But for the things that we were doing in robotics and as a new learner, I would say that compared to other people in my age, since we were, finding alternative ways to do these things, I would say yes. It's much different than when you face a problem and you solve that, and it will kind of be hacked in your mind, and you will always remember how you were solving that problems. And it's like kind of making you creative and making you learn more of what you're doing. Because, challenges and obstacles are always there to give you better lessons and make you more professional in what you're doing. I would say that it's not like if everything is, prepared for you and you can go for it. Yeah, you can do the best you can. But if you don't have everything accessible, then it doesn't mean that you should give up at that stage. Saying that, no, I can't do it because I don't have like facilities and everything I need for this. But if you really want something from your heart and you're really passionate for something, you will learn more from the obstacles that you have. And yeah, it will be, if the obstacle will be changed to opportunities, but they will make you even more expert. So kind of both of them are not like, we can say that if you have everything prepared is the right path, or if you don't have everything, it's the right path that can make you expert. So both of them, since as long as you have that passion for what you're doing, both of them are the good routes for going what you have always wished for.
I found pictures on CNN and different articles in July of 2017. It looks like you're at a hotel with all these other kids from all over the world with these robots. These are big robots. These aren't like little tiny handheld robots like an RC car. These are big, like carry them like bigger than a suitcase. When you arrived there, when you got to this robotics competition, did you feel like you'd found your people? Like you're like, oh, I'm supposed to be here and these are my people.
Yeah, exactly. So I had that feelings a lot, whether it was like attending competitions or attending conferences or whatever. When I saw the other kids in my age, I was like, yes, this is where I belong and this is what I have always wished for. So that was like the happiest moment that I have ever experienced in my life, because I was thinking that what I'm doing is what I have talent for, what I'm interested in, and what I'm passionate for. So through our journey, when we were like building the robots for attending the competition, we had many different problems, whether it was like security problems, economy problems, lack of access to facilities, and as you mentioned, the packages that other teams and other countries were receiving from the first global challenges to assembly them within that period of time until the competitions are going to be started. They were receiving their packages on time, and we were always the team that we were receiving our packages like 3 or 2 months later at the time that we were supposed to, because it was the problems with security, and many times the airport was not like giving us the packages saying that we are not allowed to transfer this to you, and many like problems. But the only reason that me and my teammates did not give up facing all those problems was that that moment when we were in the competitions and we were seeing other kids, other people who are doing what we were doing and had the same, idea and in their minds and have the same goals for their life. They were like the happiest moments in our lives and the reasons that made us not to give up for what we were doing.
There's a saying that we say that like little kids aren't taught inequality, right? Like little kids don't come out racist. You don't have racist babies or sexist babies. You have to be taught that kind of stuff. When you are coming up in Afghanistan in a culture that had historically been open, like there's a lot of really great things we can read about Afghanistan in early times, pre-Taliban, pre-government, and then the history, like hundreds of years of really cool stuff happening. Did you learn about that stuff? And did it make you think about how a woman should participate in science? And then while you're being told by some that you shouldn't be doing science, are you pushing back or are they converting you? Like, do they make young people think, oh gosh, maybe they're right. Maybe women shouldn't do robots?
Yeah, actually, many people like beside that they were saying that science and engineering are only for boys and it's not like for girls and you shouldn't be doing this. We like I would say more than 100 times we heard this idea and this thing. Even the girls in my age in our school saying that our neighbors or other relatives saying that why are you doing this? It's considered to be for boys. It's not like something you as a girl should do that, especially in Afghanistan. So yeah, I have heard that idea a lot of times, but um, I would say that this idea kind of changed my mindset about not only for the major that I was interested for science and engineering, but about the life at all. It changed my mindset because I did say to myself that although it's like I would say conservative thinking that people are, saying that it's only for boys, and I did it. So there are lots of things in our lives that maybe it would seem impossible for some people's point of view. But if you are really interested in, then you can still go for it. You can try your chances and you can show your abilities to people that you can still do it. So it was, as you mentioned, kind of converting my idea that even though it seems impossible for like a group of people or for like most of the people around me, I can still do it and it changed my mindset about the life as well. So if I really want something, then I can still do it no matter what like other people are thinking about that. I would say a story of that as well. Like when we first started, attending the competitions, obviously I don't know if you have heard of that or not. People in my country think that if a girl is, because it was more of the Taliban's idea that if a girl was to go out abroad, wants to travel abroad, she needs to be accompanied by mahram, which is a male guardian, and it should be their brother, father, husband, and they shouldn't do it alone because it's against their idea and their regime. And since the time that I was born was after the Taliban's first regime in my country, and those conservative parts were still with most of the people in my country after the Taliban left. But we were the generation that wanted to change this idea and for the people of my country, and we were really working hard for that. So when I attended the team, if many of our neighboring people were coming to my dad saying that your daughter shouldn't do that, that if by any chance Taliban get back in the country, you will be, accused for letting your girl traveling alone, even beside from the thinking that we were doing robotics and science and engineering at for boys. But those ideas even converted me like, why not? Like, I did it and I can still do it, so why not? And I did go for that. And it was, as you mentioned, a converting idea that went for.
So then after 2017, when you went to the robotics competition and then you got into the news with the other young ladies, the other team members, then the Taliban came back in 2021. Do they look in the news? I mean, are they like Googling for stuff? I mean, how do they know that these ladies are famous? And then you felt that you needed to leave?
for me and for my team members, because when we first want the team when they first wanted to attend the competitions, our visas were denied only because we were from Afghanistan, and they were saying that a team from Afghanistan is not allowed to come to USA and get their visas. So for the first time, our visas were denied, and we did not give up, and we raised our voices through social media. 53 congressmen signed a petition to give us the permission to come to USA. And when we raised our voice, either through international media or the media in our country, this made our team very famous, that almost everyone in our country were like knowing about our team, and either through our work, or we were living in Herat, and Herat was first taken over by Taliban, and even with the time that we were living there, the remote areas and then villages were almost under control of Taliban, and that was like scary for us. And by that time, we were receiving like warning letters from Taliban that, hey, we know about you, we know what you did, and that's against our regime, and you shouldn't be doing that, and you should be punished for that. So after receiving those kind of, warning letters, that was the reason that made us leave our country, even though we were really hopeful for staying in our country and continue doing what we always wanted.
Yeah, if one chooses to go and read the articles about this, it sounds like you were kind of bounced all over from Pakistan to Qatar to Mexico. Did you land somewhere that you're happy now? Are you well and safe?
Yes, that was a really quite long journey. So we went from Herat to Kabul, from Kabul to Pakistan, from Pakistan to Mexico, from Mexico to Ireland, from Ireland. Now I'm in USA, and I'm happy for that because I'm finally safe. Although I do say that it's one of the toughest experiences I had ever in my life, leaving my loved ones behind, my friends behind in my country, and with all these things that are going on in my country, it's like I even still have this nightmare when I'm sleeping in my during these days, but I can never forget what's happening in my country, and it's like always a feeling that's always with me. But it was a quite long journey, but I'm happy that I'm finally safe in your state. There I am now, and happy for having the opportunity to study for and going for what I have always dreamed for.
When you're done with your studies, when you graduate from college, what is your dream? Do you want to return and become a professor and teach robotics and science, or do you want to make robots? What is Saghar doing in 5 years?
That's actually more an interesting question. I always do ask that for myself. And it's also a tough question because it really takes you think a lot about what you are going to do for your future. So for now that I'm studying college and I'm planning to transfer from college to university for spring 2024, after I'm done with my studies, I hope that I gain enough knowledge for what I'm planning for what is my goal, to build an application that can help Afghan women in my country get access to a program that can help them study about and computer science and technology. And after finishing that program, it will, connect them to opportunities to get work and work online. Because as you know, with computer science, there are lots of opportunities that we can work online, than any other field or major. So I do have the idea of returning to my country. I do always, every day, wish for that to return to my country. If we have that safe country where I can, I really wish for that. By any chance, the regime changes again and we are able to go back to my country, I have lots of other goals to, like, even building a steam school in my country. And that was always one of my biggest wishes. But if I can't by any chance, then my goal is to build this application that can help Afghan women get access to a program for a period of time for computer science and STEAM. Because when we first attended robotics, many people had this idea that it should be for boys, and it's not right what we were doing. But after we had attended competitions and raised our country's flag internationally and brought the medals back to our country, many girls, many girls, and either in our school and our city got interested in robotics. Like when I was in school, many girls were like coming to me asking how they can join the team because our team made them feel that they can do what we were doing too. So for those who are still remaining in our country, it's getting even worse in my country with the regime currently. But I do still have that sounds in my mind, girls coming to me asking us how we can do it. So I'm always, planning for making a route for them to go for what I went in my country and facilitate this way for them.
And not only are you going to school and learning to be an engineer, although I think you're already an engineer, is my opinion. I see also that you're even using your voice in policy discussions. You spoke at the Brookings Institute. It sounds like whenever there's an opportunity for you to represent your country as well as the robotics community and talk to any kind of a group or foundation that's interested in learning, you're taking those opportunities, which I think is really cool.
Thank you so much. As I mentioned before, I really get frustrated with what is happening in my country with girls being abandoned from continuing their education. And it's like really such feeling that I have always with myself. So I think I'm responsible for the girls in my country. Just leaving my country doesn't mean that I'm going to forget what's happening in my country forever, but that means that I feel myself responsible for the girls in my country to be their voice wherever I am and fight for their dreams and their voice in wherever I am. So yes, I actually got invited when last year in your UN Assembly for learning, and I had the chance to talk in that event for the girls in my country because they still don't have access to education. So I was raising their voice. I was asking. I have always want to ask the international community to be a help for the girls in my country because if they take the hand of a girl in my country, they will, build the life of that girl in the country. So yeah, I will always go for that because I feel myself responsible for being the voice of the girls in my country.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with me and telling your story today. I really appreciate the opportunity to chat with you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really nice talking to you. I really appreciate your time.
And please send my love and support to your other your co-members of the team that many of which have made it safely out of Afghanistan. And I do hope that you do get to go back and keep doing workshops and teaching young people and especially girls a formal STEM or STEAM based education. I think that's a really great dream that you have.
Thank you so much. We all hope for that. And yeah, thank you so much for wishing that.
We've been chatting with Saghar Salehi. This has been another episode of Hansel Minutes, and we'll see you again next week.